Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to learn something about a calculator. Yes, it's a scratch calculator that we are going to build today. So let's start. As you can see, I have placed these buttons at a place such that it looks like a calculator. Okay, I will show you the link or from where I can get this button or from where you can get these buttons. Okay, I will show you the entire project link so that it will be easy for you to drag these buttons and use these buttons for your application or for your when you will be creating your scratch game. Okay, so I have just placed them in the right place, or we can say the position, as we can say, of the calculator. Now let's create a background for this calculator. So I'm going into the stage option. I'm going to paint, and here I have already selected the gray color, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. Okay, same time when you draw this rectangle, have a look at the output screen. Okay, so it's just a little tilt, so I will move this rectangle towards the left, up a bit, and yes. So now let's create the result section, so which appears to be in white. So let's color it into the white. So I'm just selecting a white color. Maybe this looks good as a white. So I'm going to click on the square and I'm going to draw a screen. Okay, keep in mind that the area that you're going to draw will be the area where you will be able to see the result. Okay, so you will display the result here. Okay, keep in mind that the number should not exceed this. Okay, otherwise it will go beyond this calculator. Okay, so now this looks like a perfect calculator. So let's go back to the code section, and yes, I'm going to create a variable which may be called as, for example, I will say result. So this is the variable which will hold the results of our calculations. Okay, so now as you can see that this result appears here, the variable. I'm just going to move it here. I'm double clicking on this, just the changed version, or we can say the changed display of our result variable. Okay, so this is the 0. Okay, so now this was the entire part of the design of the calculator. Now let's begin with the coding calculator. So to code the calculator, I will start with the C, like the C button on the calculator. Okay, so C stands for the clearing operation. So when we press this button, everything on the calculator must be cleared. So whatever there is, like any number or anything, that should be cleared. So to do that, I'm going to go into the events, and I'm going to drag when this sprite is clicked. Okay, now this sprite implies to the C. Okay, so whenever I'm going to click on the C, okay, I want everything in the result to be 0 or to be cleared out. So I'm going into the control, and I'm going to the variables, and I'm going to drag set variable. I'm going to attach it here, and I'm going to make the result 0. So whatever is there in this result will be 0 when I'm going to click on this C. Okay, so this was a very simple code for the clear C option. Instead of result, let's make a variable called output. Maybe that will be more what we can say replicate the output that we can see on this orange button. Okay, so I'm just going into the variables. I am making a new variable called as output. Okay, and instead of result, I will just select this output, and I'm going to delete this result, just to avoid confusion between output and result. Okay, so output means whatever is there inside this button will copy as an output. Okay, so now the output is here, so I'll just make it place again in this section, and I'm double clicking on this, and yes, so whatever the buttons you type in here will be displayed on this. Okay, so now let's go to the next button. Okay, I will start with the 0. So to begin with the 0, Again, I'm going into the events, and as we're going to click on this button, let me drag the block when this sprite is clicked. Okay, so now when this sprite is clicked, okay, I'm going to drag if else block. Okay, now in this if else block, if the output is already 0, okay, so I'm going to operator, and I'm going to drag this condition check, and here I'm going to check the variable output with the value null. Okay, so now if the output is null, we are just going to set the output to 0, and if the output is not null, null means there is nothing on the on this what we can say on this orange, okay, that means null. Okay, and if there is something on the null, for example any other number 1, 2, 3 or any other number, then what we are going to do is we are just going to drag this, and I'm going into the operator, and I'm going into this join. Okay, so I'm going to join the output like in previous number with the 0. Okay, so I am going to go to the variables, drag the output, place it here, and instead of banana I will write 0. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, so I've attached this, and let me join this if in here. So now check, whenever I'm clicking on the 0, see the 0 gets added, like I said, it gets joined to the previous output value. Okay, and we have to do same for this other buttons also. Alright, so to make it simple, I am just going to drag this whole code, and I'm going to put into the 9 first. Now see, it's in the 9. Yeah, it got dragged into the 9, and here instead of 0 I will just put it 9. Okay, and I'm going to join this by 9. So see now, if I write 0 and then 9, it got joined. Okay, so we are just creating the number first. Okay, the number that will be entered using pressing of this button. Okay, and see, if I press the clear, everything is cleared. So we have just coded the 0, the clear, and the 9. Just 3 buttons till now. Okay, let us do the remaining. So again, I'm going to drag this, put it into the 8. So let's check if it's there into the 8. Yes, it is. You can check this symbol. Okay, so this replicates our sprite. So now again I have to write here 8. This also 8. Go into the 7 now. So I'm just dragging it and placing it into the 7. So to place that little box should little wobble. So now see, it's in 7 now. Yeah, it got copied into the 7. So I will just make it here again 7, and make this also 7. Now there are still a few buttons remaining, 6, 5, 4, 2, 3 and 1. So again drag this, place into the 5, drag this, place into the 6, drag this, place into the 4, drag this, place into 2, drag it, place into 3, drag it and place into the 1. Okay, so all of them are there now. Let's check with the 6. Yes, it's there. So let it make the 7 as 6 because this is the 6th button. Let's check with the 5. Yes, so let us make this 5. Go on with the 4. Make this 4. 2. Oh, it didn't copy in the 2. So again, I'm going to drag this 4 and let the 2 wobble, and then I will leave. Yeah, so it's there in 2. Make this 2. 3. Make this 3. Alright, so let us drag the blocks again. So when sprite click, go into the control, drag the if then, and we are going to check the output. So go into the variables, check the output with null, and then go back to set output 0 and drag again this block here, go to the operators and join block in here. So here we are going to join the output with the number 1. So here I have to write here 1, and again instead of banana I will write here 1. Attach it to the when sprite click. Okay, so now check and test all the buttons are working. So I'm writing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, all of them are working along with the clear. Okay, so now let us move to the operators, that is the plus, divide, into, equal to, and minus. Okay, so for that, first what I'll do is I'll create 2 new variables. Okay, one is the num1 to store the number 1 of the operators, and let us make another variable called as num2. Okay, and yes, we have now 2 numbers. Okay, so now when this sprite is clicked, if you don't want these numbers to be displayed on the screen, we can just untick this options and then it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to do the coding for this plus. So let's go to the events, and I'm going to drag when sprite is clicked. This sprite is clicked. Okay, so now what we will do is we have to store whatever the number is in here into the num1. Okay, that means output value into num1. So I'm going to drag the set, right, and I'm going to drag output and put in here. That means the value of output will be stored into the num1. Now let's set the output to, what is this operator? This is a plus. So let's set the output to plus. Okay, now maybe you can skip this wait, but let's see if we can wait for just 0.5 seconds, and then we will hide the variables. We will hide, where is hide? Yes, so we'll hide the output. Okay, and set the output to null, because now we have to store the other number. So we will set the output to null. Okay, and broadcast a message. I'm going to the events. Now broadcasting is another way of expressing or popping out a message to the sprite. Okay, so this we will use, a broadcast message we will use when we will perform that addition. So let's broadcast a message. Create a new message as num2, wait, and as this was a plus operation, to indicate that I will just write plus. So it's called num2 wait plus. Okay, so we are going to wait for the number 2 and then do the addition or the plus. Okay, so now let us check what happens in here. I'm going to click the green flag. So it is cleared whenever the green flag is clicked, and if I click on this button, even that also clears this thing. So let us write 78, and I'm going to write the plus. So see, it popped out for 0.3 seconds and then vanished off. Why? Because we are hiding that variable. Instead of just 0.3, let us increase the delay so that we can see the plus for a long time. Maybe just 0.5, or we can also keep it 1 second. That's up to us. So, and I'm not going to hide this variable because we won't be able to see that we have to enter a new variable. Okay, so now this is a first task, and the same thing must be followed for the other operators also, like the divide, into, equal to, not equal to, and minus. Okay, so let's drag this for the divide, And in the divide, I will just write this. Instead of plus, I will write divide. And in here, instead of num2 wait plus, I will create another message to broadcast, a new message, and write there num2 wait. And as this was a divide, let us write divide. Okay, and I'm going to drag the same for the into. So here, instead of divide, I will write again into. Or we can also put an X, so that. And new message, num2 wait, multiply. We won't drag this for the equal to, because we are writing a separate code for the equal to. Let us drag this for the minus. And here it goes. Yes. Instead of X now for multiplication, I'm going to write here minus. And create new message, num2 wait minus, or we can also write subtract. So subtract. Okay, so yes, we have coded with the divide, into, minus, plus, and also the numbers. So what remaining is the equal to. But let us check if till now it works. So the clear works. I'm going to write 0 1 4 8 1 plus, it remains, and then 0. Good. And let us write this. So this is a second number which is going into the output. Alright, so I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to the equal to. So in the equal to, whenever we press this equal to check the operators, the output value must be stored into num2. So I'm going to drag when this sprite is clicked, go to go to variables, and set num2 is equals to our output. Okay, if you want to check, let us show this variable so that you will able to understand. Okay, so I'm clearing this, but our previous number which was stored in num1 will be there as it is. Okay, because we haven't written the code to clear these numbers also. Okay, so num1 holds our previous value, and let's check now. So let us first clear these two numbers also when the C is pressed. So I'm going into the sprite, and again I'm going into this, set num1 to 0, and I'm dragging this, set num2 is also equals to 0. So now see, if I press the clear button, number 1 and number 2 both are 0, so that everyone will start with a new two numbers. So I'm going to click 78 plus, so 78 stores in number 1. Let us write 78 again, and I'm going to press on equal to. So see, 78 again goes stored into the second number. Clicking on the clear, show it again with the two different numbers. So this is 45 plus, so 45 goes into the number 1, 52 equal to goes into the number 2. So we have like stored these two numbers. Now we just have to perform the operations on these numbers based upon the operator that we are using: plus, minus, divide, and into. Now let's write the code for the equal to when we enter the operators such as plus, divide, into, and minus. Okay, so as you know that we had just sent a message called as these messages, right? To wait divide, wait multiply, wait plus, and wait subtract. Okay, so let us start with the plus. So when I receive this, okay, when I'm pressing equal to, the output gets stored into num2. So we'll have two numbers, one stored in num1 and the other stored in num2. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to control, and I'm going to drag wait until, so that until we enter something into the num2, it remains there. Okay, so I'm going to the operators, and I'm going to add the not, and in this I'm going to just check if are num2, sorry, in the variables, yeah, it's not equal to 0. So it will wait to perform the operation till the num2 is not equal to 0. Okay, and then followed by what we are going to do is I'm going to the operator, and yes, I'm going to join. I'm going to join the two numbers first. So I need first the number 1, okay, joined with obviously the message that we are receiving. So this is a plus, so we'll join here with a plus. And then I'm going to join the number 2. So again, I'm going to join this, dragging the block from the operator, placing it here, and instead of banana, I'm again going to write from the variables num2. Okay, so if you want to check how this will look, just click on the first block and see it says 0 plus 0. So this is what will appear on this output using this join block. Okay, so now we want the equal to sign, and then we want the result of the addition to be displayed. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the operators again. I'm dragging out the join block. I will place this in the first section, and I will place here equal to. So see now how it looks. It looks like 0 plus 0 equal to, and now we need the result. So for the result, I need this operator, that is the plus. This operator will perform the addition, actual addition. I'm going to place here num1, here I will place num2, and in the operators I'm again going to join this. So I will join this, and I'm going to join this. So see how it looks now. 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. If this numbers would have been any other, let us check. Let us check by setting the output. So I'm going to drag this block, set, drag the output, and join this here. Join this here. Okay, so whenever I will receive this message, it will wait until it is not equal to 0. Once it is equal to 0, once it is not equal to 0, it will join the numbers, number 1 and number 2, and equate it to the answer. So let's give it a try. So see, I'm writing 8. I'm pressing the plus. So after pressing the plus, 8 gets stored into number 1. The number 2 is still 0. So it's waiting for the number 2. So I'm entering 5. And I'm going to then press equal to. So see, now it pressed, displayed properly, 8 plus 5 equals to 13. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing for the other operators. So let's do. I'm just going to duplicate this block, place it here. Instead of num2 wait, I will select a subtractor here. The other things remaining same. We just need to change this operator of plus. So I'm going to drag the minus, place it here, and I'm going to place num1 and the num2. And we have to also change this. So we will write here, instead of plus, we'll write here minus. Now let's check. So clear this. 7 minus 5 equals to 2. Okay, let us repeat this for the multiplication. So I will write here multiply. Instead of minus, I will write here, you can, as this is the display one, you can write here x, but here you need the proper multiplication operator. And I'm going to place here number 1, oops, number 2. Delete this. Check out. So it's 7 into 8 equals to. Got it? Now let's make space for division. So I'm right clicking it, duplicate it, placing it here, and I will select divide, and instead of this I will write here slash divide, and again instead of this I'm going to drag the operator of divide. So this is num1, num2. Keep keep in mind this is going to divide number 1 by number 2. Let's clear it again. 8 divided by 4 and equals to. That's it. So our calculator code is done. And we can just hide these numbers. So go to the variables with this number. Okay, so now it actually looks like a calculator. So yes, you can make any changes that you want to do with this code. I have shared the link of this code in the description box. So you can use this code. You can use this sprite. Hope you all have enjoyed this calculator code. Do like, share and subscribe our channel. See you in the next video. Bye.